Welcome to a new Daily Top AskReddit video. Today's topic.
To anyone who works at self-scanning machines, how often do you notice people stealing and don't do anything about it? If the teller notices, then the 5 cameras have also seen it. And those cameras can kiss my ass. Just be careful who you steal from. I know Target likes to wait until you have a felony amount of theft before catching you. My grocery store just installed these AI cameras above every self-checkout. If the AI thinks that the item looks different than what was scanned or punched in, it will stop you until an employee comes and checks. It's so bad. In any given checkout it triggers at least once. The worst part is, the employees don't ever even look. They are tired of it triggering every 30 seconds that they just scan their badge and move on. It slows things down so much, and I seriously doubt that it accurately stops any theft. Yeah, the Kroger stores in my area introduced the camera AI a couple years ago and had to back way off the sensitivity within a couple weeks. Kroger's cameras kept thinking I was trying to steal my own phone. I see you all scanning Honeycrisps as red delicious. Once scanned a organic cucumber as a regular. I've never gotten over the guilt. If the store only has organic and are out of the normal ones, you better believe I'm scanning the organic as standard. I work at Walmart and DGAF. Nothing you can steal from Walmart is more than the company steals from its employees. Bless you, folded hands. I'm also a liar. Don't believe everything you read on internet. Used to work asset protection, they really don't even need to notice. There's certain statistical formulas and algorithms on the sales records that will flag certain transactions that get audited, and it gets sent to us to review the video. The big one I would advise never doing is a return fraud, picking up a receipt for a $500 TV, taking that TV from electronics over to returns, and returning it. That can be a felony in some states. But if you get caught stealing anything under $25, I doubt they'll do anything. Some police departments have put their foot down and told Walmart to stop calling them unless the value stolen was over $100 to $200. I only cared about the organized groups and people with a violent history and big theft. Food, necessities, I never gave a fuck, much to my manager's chagrin. Mileage may vary and my knowledge is probably out of date. This is for entertainment purposes only. Blah blah blah. Target will wait till you've stolen a felony amount of stuff and then go after you. I really need to see some kind of evidence of this. This feels like an urban legend to me. I was checking out with a clerk at Home Depot, and the employee was disgruntled. I was buying a bunch of PVC adapters and pipes for DIY irrigation and had like 10 to 15 of each part, and if it didn't successfully scan the barcode first attempt, she just threw it in the bag as if she had scanned it. Little old lady. She did not give a fuck. On more than one occasion I've gone through the self-checkout with every intention of scanning everything, been distracted by something, and totally forgotten about the stuff on the bottom of my cart. Road salt, charcoal, that sort of thing. I've probably forgotten to load stuff I paid for into my car an equal number of times, so I feel like I've probably broken even. No idea why it's such a blind spot for me. I walked out of a store with an entire door accidentally. About 3 weeks after we had our first kid, our sliding screen door got a 2-foot rip. I went to Home Depot at 7 p.m., had the door in one hand and some track lube in the other. The associate came over to help, asked if this was all, grabbed the hand scanned the lubricant and asked for my payment card. It wasn't till my wife looked at the receipt and said, "Wow, $13 for a door. Was it on clearance?" They're too busy telling the scanner I'm not stealing every time I move a bag from the scale to my cart to notice real stealing. Maybe if there were enough employees to open a register, I wouldn't have to go through self-checkout with a full cart. Maybe if there were enough employees to open a register. Lack of employees is not the reason there are no registers open. The self-checkouts are the exact reason. Why keep human staff when the machine never asks for a break or a vacation? Plus they end up charging the customer to make a purchase at the same time, free labor. I go to Whole Foods by my office to buy apples basically every week, and many times they aren't in their system yet for some reason. The worker will come over and not be able to look them up or anything, and they just tell me to take them. This happens mostly with varieties that they just got in. Try new apples at Whole Foods. Thanks for the tip. Amazon's approach to lossage is fuck it, we'll make it back on Prime members. Just this week we got a package delivered that we requested be in an additional box for a gift, but it just showed up in its own box in the snow, so the box got a little wet but the item was fine. We contacted support figuring we could get like $5 or $10 credit to make up for having to buy a box, and they just refunded the entire $200 item and told us to keep it. Seeing as I have never been officially trained on how to use the equipment, I have no idea if something is not scanned. This needs a cross post to ask a lawyer. I've worked at a Walmart or whatever, it took 2 or 3 shifts to have me trained as a fully competent cashier, according to them. Now, as a customer, am I to be held to a higher standard of training? I regularly do self-scan at Aldus and Target with no problems. I use the pharmacy at a local big grocery store and pay at the pharmacy. I inevitably pick up 3 to 4 grocery items and use self-checkout every time it stops scanning and requests the staff. I figure it is my little bag with my paid-for prescription that is detected. I ask the worker how I can prevent this from happening and she rudely said she had no idea. It depends on the type of self-checkout. If it has weight sensor in the bagging area, then yeah, it will yell out you for any difference detected. Not putting an item in the bagging area, putting something not scanned, like a prescription, in the bagging area, setting your purse down there, etc. Some of them are very touchy though and will just freak. I worked at Kmart for years and was often rostered to supervise the self-checkouts. Because the technology was shit, you would constantly need to input your employee code to fix customers' machines due to there being an unexpected item in bagging area. I never once actually checked to see if they had scanned said items or not, lol. Fuck, that place sucked, but the workers were great. I didn't realize Kmart was still around during the self-checkout revolution. Weird timeline. I'm from Australia and we still have Kmart today, as a part of our Coles Myer, I believe. I'm going to tell you what I used to tell my coworkers. I do not get paid enough to care. They could steal the whole store and I wouldn't bat an eye. I did always advise people if they stole out of Walmart, never hit the $500 mark, cause that's felony territory and they will get you, and for the love of God please only food and necessities. You have no business stealing a Nintendo Switch cause your son wanted one, deadpan face. Remember kids, the stores determined that the cost of losing merchandise through self-checkout is still less than gainfully employing checkout clerks, so they're still ahead. Previous retail worker honestly depends on if higher-ups are staring us down. For the most part it's not my money. I don't really care if you scan 3 peppers when you have 7 or 8, but the people who try to walk out with whole carts can go fuck themselves. I won't let that slide as it would have costed me my job. I once scanned my entire grocery cart, with my wife and 2 kids present, and then just walked out. Once we got home I realized what I did, so I called the store to ask what I should do and the young kid that I spoke to said, no one's ever come back, so I don't know. Once in JCPenney at the mall there was a gun scare, sounded like shots but was a machine that went boom, and everyone scattered to the exits. My mother in her panic ran with the multiple shirts and pants she had draped over her arm, ended up 2 miles away at a different parking lot before she realized. She called the store, called multiple nearby stores, because she felt guilty, and they just kept telling her to keep them LMAO. I went to Home Depot for a wheelbarrow, put a couple items inside of it while shopping, then forgot to scan the wheelbarrow at self-checkout. I realized my mistake once I got to the car, but by then I'd already committed the perfect crime. That was a legit big item to just walk out with accidentally, lol. My favorite now is you scan and bag your groceries and then have a security guard check your receipt. Pay for a checker and skip the middleman. Unless it's Costco, I'm not showing them shit. Same, I just keep walking. I really don't have any interest in proving to them I actually paid for a light bulb. I don't work there, but the last time I went to Walmart, I saw 4 people go through the self-checkout and steal. 2 of them rang up their items, bagged them, then just took the bags and walked out of the store without paying. The associate didn't seem to care. Then the associate went and erased the orders so other customers could ring up. While I was scanning my stuff, the person to the left of me and the person to the right of me were only scanning some of their items and throwing everything in bags. I started to feel like I was the only one not stealing from Walmart that day. The line for self-checkout at Walmart was well over 20 ppl the other day. One middle-aged, well-dressed dude carrying 2 boxes of cereal and a gallon of milk walked by to join the end of the line. 30 seconds later, he walks back to the front of the line, through the self-checkout area, and right out the door. Kind of admired the chutzpah. Remember, if you ever see someone stealing food, you didn't. Remember, if you use overused phrases on Reddit, you did. I also choose this guy's dead wife. Sir, this is a Wendy's. Is it stealing if you take the fancy tomatoes but ring them up as the cheap tomatoes? Asking for a friend. Oops, I thought I selected organic bananas, silly me. This is vegetable fraud. Ringing up organic produce as conventional is my jam. I'm like the John Dillinger of stealing organicness. When I was a cashier watching the self-checkout, I turned off the scales so I didn't have to monitor it, and I couldn't have cared less if someone stole. Isn't it against policy at big chains for employees to do anything about it? Remember a news story from a while back where a Target employee got fired for confronting a shoplifter. They have cameras and can pursue action after the fact if they want without putting low-paid employees or other customers at risk. A guy in our friend group in high school was killed when the loss prevention guy grabbed him to chase down a shoplifter. Shoplifter was cornered and fired his gun, killing our friend. For Walmart, one of my clients got stabbed while she was working loss prevention for JCPenney and went after a guy. I was like, you got stabbed for JCPenney? Question mark quote. Not sure what big chains you're referring to, but Target, Walmart, and most other chains do in fact have loss prevention officers inside the store that will apprehend shoplifters and detain them until police arrive. The question is specifically asking about employees that are stationed at the cashier's self-checkout. Asset protection would not fall under that. I recently worked at Target and have witnessed employees fired for attempting to stop shoplifters. They don't want that liability. They also have a Karen at the Target I'm forced to shop at because I don't own a car who likes to come up and look at your cart and ask if you paid for everything. I asked her if she wanted to check the receipt and she said no. I asked her if she wanted to call security and she said no. Then I asked why the fuck she was bothering me and left. I used to work at a Meijer, a regional grocery store, and this is true. We were trained to never accuse anyone of stealing or trying to stop anyone from stealing. Someone actually got fired for trying to stop a customer from stealing at that store. Grew up in me so know Meijer well. When I worked in retail I think we were taught to offer them a basket to hold the goods if they were in an aisle stealing stuff. We definitely were told not to chase people. If we did and they got hit by a car in the parking lot the company would get sued. Also yes they all have cameras so they should be able to use that if they want to arrest someone. That's not really why. It's not about the customer suing them, it's about you suing them. If the store has a policy of confronting shoplifters, and you do that, and then you get hurt, you're going to turn around and sue them and say you were hurt as a result of store policy. That's big bad for the store because it's well, true. So it's better let some guy steal $8 of items than pay millions out in a lawsuit to you. It's why they fire employees who break that policy, because they don't want anyone standing in front of a judge who can claim, well they say not to confront, but really they allow it. It also fucks with their insurance if they're employing a bunch of people who think Walmart wants them to Batman. Allstate doesn't want to be constantly paying out for your medical care, which is a lot more expensive than anything in the store.